Welcome to this explainer, specifically tailored for all your financial executives and risk managers out there. Today, we are taking a really hard look at the digital perimeter of the finance sector. And, well, we're going to completely reframe how we view cybersecurity. I know, it's so often seen as just a standard IT expense, right? Just a frustrating line item on the budget that seems to inevitably grow every single year. But we really need to shift that mindset. Think of cybersecurity more like a high-yield insurance policy. Today, we're going to transform that traditional view and see cybersecurity for what it truly is, a absolutely critical, high ROI strategic investment that protects your most valuable assets and, crucially, ensures your operational continuity. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's briefing. We'll start with the financial cybersecurity imperative, then dive into combating hidden insider threats. From there, we'll look at cultivating a security culture, followed by compliance and bottom line ROI, and we'll wrap it all up with proactive defense strategies. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the financial cybersecurity imperative. Now, the stakes here literally couldn't be higher. When we talk about cybersecurity and finance, whether you're running a massive banking institution or a boutique investment firm, we aren't just talking about protecting data on a server somewhere. We are actively safeguarding market confidence. As the source material points out, cyber incidents can actually undermine investor trust to the point of causing market instability. They can even ignite systemic hazards. For a CFO or a risk manager, this is pretty much your ultimate nightmare scenario, right? Preventing this, well, that isn't just an IT function. It's a fundamental necessity to prevent catastrophic systemic liabilities. Moving on to Section 2, combating hidden insider threats. Let's look at the internal risks. Notice the really stark contrast we're dealing with in the industry? On one hand, we're all hyper-aware of the cybersecurity talent gap. The demand for specialized pros frequently exceeds supply, which makes fending off sophisticated external attacks incredibly difficult. But flip that over and look at the vulnerability to insider threats. Financial institutions manage truly enormous volumes of sensitive data. And your internal staff? Well, they already hold the keys to those vital systems. The risk here is just immense. We spend so much time and energy worrying about the hackers outside the firewall, but actually, the massive internal liability posed by our own staff is very often the greater unmitigated risk. And because your financial institution is highly vulnerable from both the outside and the inside, continuous 24/7 monitoring and real-time threat detection are absolute non-negotiables. You simply can't rely on periodic checks anymore. The threat landscape is way too dynamic for that. To ensure operational continuity, you've got to have eyes on your network around the clock to instantly identify and squash new threats the absolute second they emerge. Which brings us nicely to Section 3, cultivating a security culture. At the end of the day, the human element really dictates the success or failure of your technological investments. Just think about these cultural roadblocks for a second. We're talking about a lack of awareness, significant training gaps, general resistance to change. We see siloed departments operating inconsistently across the board, and a short-term mindset where employees view security merely as an annoying distraction from their actual daily tasks. Add to all that a sort of general complacency toward those insider threats we just talked about, and man, you have a recipe for disaster. These cultural failures act as massive roadblocks that completely drain the ROI of those expensive security tools you just purchased. I mean, you can buy the most advanced intrusion detection system in the world, but if your culture is broken, your defenses are broken. So the crucial takeaway here is simply this. Cultural challenges will inevitably undermine your technology. Fostering a strong, proactive, and highly aware security culture directly reduces your long-term institutional risk. By actively eliminating training gaps and breaking down those silos, you ensure your high-dollar technology isn't just easily bypassed by basic human complacency. Okay, let's pivot to Section 4, compliance and bottom line ROI. This is where we talk about real value. It turns out, specific compliance frameworks are actually high-yield risk mitigation investments. Look, we all hear the groans when acronyms like GDPR, PCI DSS, or FISMA get brought up in boardrooms. I get it. But consider this. Compliance with PCI DSS establishes secure payment processes, which directly helps you avoid devastatingly costly credit card breaches. GDPR safeguards data and maintains transparency, shielding you from absolutely massive fines. FISMA ensures you're meeting federal standards for data handling. These are not just bureaucratic regulatory hurdles. Actually turning these regulations into operational realities brings concrete, measurable financial savings by fundamentally lowering your overall risk profile.
But to actually realize that ROI, you've got to have comprehensive risk management strategies in place. That means getting expert guidance on things like FATF, AML, and GDPR. It means executing targeted, comprehensive risk assessments to proactively find vulnerabilities before someone else exploits them. It means advanced data protection. We're talking strict encryption and really tight access controls alongside rigorous, regular auditing. By strictly enforcing these structured practices, CFOs and risk managers can systematically mitigate vulnerabilities long before they trigger massive operational penalties. It's all about being proactive with your capital rather than being reactive with your crisis budget.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Proactive Defense Strategies. So, the architecture of a truly proactive defense basically requires 4 distinct steps. Step 1 is getting that SIEM in place, security information and event management, which gives you that 24/7 threat monitoring we stressed earlier. Step 2 takes it a bit further with vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, basically actively poking holes in your own systems to see what breaks. Step 3 introduces specialized red, purple, and blue team simulations, as well as simulated phishing campaigns to really stress test both your human and technical responses under fire. And then step 4 is rapid incident response, which includes deep malware analysis and thorough post-incident reporting. Investing in this systematic defense ensures you are proactively hunting vulnerabilities. Think of it this way: you are investing upfront to secure the fortress today, rather than paying an exorbitant, unbudgeted fee for a post-breach investigation tomorrow when the damage is already done.
As we conclude this explainer today, I really want to leave you with a vital question to ponder. Take a hard look at your own organization. Think about the massive volumes of data you hold, the strict regulatory requirements you're under, and most importantly, the people operating your systems every single day. Is your current security culture a protective asset, or is it your greatest unmitigated institutional risk? Addressing that question honestly? Well, that is the first true step towards strategic financial readiness in the digital age. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Take these insights right back to your executive team, and let's start treating cybersecurity as the strategic, high ROI investment it truly is.